So I think we're going to read off the script. So basically, for 4.5 billion years, Mars has waited. A cold, desolate world, red dust, frozen poles, an atmosphere so thin and so fragile that water could not exist on its surface. Think about that. And yet, this barren planet holds something really precious. It holds possibilities. Humanity stands at a crossroads. We have the knowledge, we have the technology. The only question that remains is, do we have the will? We all know, this is not scripted. We all know one guy that's got the will. And he's building a really big fucking rocket ship. So, Earth is kind of our safety blanket, I guess you could say. Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. Earth is our safety blanket. A cradle. But it's temporary. All planets die. Let me tell you why Mars is so important. We've got to learn how to restart a planet. All planets die. Look out into the vastness of space. There's those that think that we can see 13.7 billion years. There's some of us that say that we haven't seen as far as what's visible, 14.3 billion since the Big Bang. You have people like me that think that we might actually be looking at ourselves from every direction, that the universe is a finite space with no definable edge, which does explain the acceleration of 70,000 meters a second, that mass accelerates away from mass across the visible universe. Except for one thing. Mass creates gravity. Gravity attracts mass. It doesn't make any sense that mass could be equally accelerating away from each other. Right? That's the thing. So let's say you have 3 dots, right? And you look at 3 dots in space, right? When you look at those 3 dots, again, they're going to be further apart. They're not going to be closer together, even if, unless they're already tidally locked or, in a gravity well. But when you look at those 3, let's just do 2 dots, right? So, or these 4 dots. Let's do 4 dots, right? So you have these 4 dots that are in any given place. When we look at them again in another time, they're going to be here and here and eventually here and here. That's the way it works. Well, that tells me that it's possible that we are looking at a multiverse slip, a tidal effect, that it's not a vacuum. There's actually something there that is swirling, like inside of a sphere. Right? Finite space, no definable edge. That kind of makes it, and you look at the way that our galaxies are, right? Like that's, I don't know. We have galaxies that are headed towards each other, and galaxies that are headed away. We know in 4 billion years this is going to be the Milk-Andromeda galaxy. Any of y'all know about that? I really doubt. We're already in a shooting gallery that's quite scary. I really doubt we're going to survive when the Andromeda and the Milky Way galaxies start colliding. If you think about cosmic scale, this is something the average human can't wrap their head around. Most really smart humans can't wrap their head around it. We are moving so much faster than 2,600 mile an hour. I think that's what, I don't remember exactly what the rate of spin is. It's been a long time. But, you know, the whole solar system is flying through the vastness of space in a toroidal motion, while being slung around on the edge of a galaxy that is accelerating away from another group of galaxies that's got galaxies headed towards it. Like, I mean, let's put it into perspective. We know that mass accelerates away from mass. It's I want to say it's 70,000 meters per second. That's not slow. That's not slow. So let's see. In order to orbit the planet, it's 27,000 miles per hour, or 27,000 meters, kilometers. I don't remember. I really should have all this in front of me. This is what happens when you go off script. I'm gonna go back to my script. Those of you that do what I just did, get woo! Oh, squirrel! You'll script. Respect the script. So, our population grows, resources dwindle, climate change reshapes our world, and the existential risk multiply. We are in a shooting gallery, ladies and gentlemen. You saw how bad Apophis was. Do you know before Apophis was the big talk, there was a meteor that passed us at 80,000 miles per hour that we didn't see until it was right beside us and extremely close? If you're behind a planet and you're screaming in, the sun is not lighting you up. We can't see you. It's just black against black. We can hope that there's some type of X-ray or ultraviolet that bounces off of you and allows, you know, us to see you, but we don't even have the funding for what was it? There was a NASA program. Again, running away from the script. So, I spent a day writing the script. I should at least read the damn script. I don't know about y'all, but oh yeah, it's a really good book. Also a really good book. Yep, but I'm TypeScript now, so some really good ones here. Oh, for all of you that are into world modeling, get you a GIS tutorial. It will help. So, anyways, as I was saying, and the existential risk multiply. Asteroid impacts, super volcanic eruptions. Do any of y'all know about the fault line in Washington and Vancouver called the Cascadia Fault? We're talking a 9.5, and it's going to be so violent, and I believe we're like a few hundred years past due. This is a fault line that goes in, you know, a cycle. It is attached to the San Andreas Fault. You will literally have from middle to southern California a 7.0 to 7.5 to 8 to 8.5 to 9 to 9.5 Richter earthquake that will encompass the entirety of the West Coast at one time. How many volcanoes is that going to trigger? Is that going to be what finally brings the magma high enough in Yellowstone? We know the ground moves there. It's active. You can go look at the geysers. There's magmatic flow. Nuclear war. Everybody's screaming World War III right now. No. Wait for Poland. Poland will let you know when it's World War III. They're just ready to drag their Article 4 sack all over Russia. Which, by the way, I don't think we should be enemies with. I agree with the people that say that. I think the Orientals are the only ones we should be enemies with, and that's just because Orientals are They view races differently than we do. Um, the eggs of human civilization sit in a single basket. I stole that one from Elon. That's a good one. That is a good one. All of our eggs are in one basket. This little bitty ball that's in a shooting gallery that could literally be taken out and become uninhabitable if something the size of a building hits us at the right speed. A building. We build millions of them. Everything that's swirling around us right now, hundreds of thousands of solid iron and cobalt, nickel, like titanium, asteroids. At cosmic scale speeds, tens of thousands of miles an hour, is going to hit us at some point. But see, all of you, not in my lifetime, who cares? Let's all the grandparents out there that's ever bounced their grandchild on their knee and felt that joy. Do you want to deny your grandchild the opportunity of doing that with his grandchild? Not just his children, his grandchildren. Every grandparent just can't wait to load the grandkids up on sugar and send them home to parents to pay back for what we did to our parents when we were little shits. That's what this kicking the can that we're doing is. If we do not go to Mars and learn how to restart a planet, consciousness is over. I'm not going to have a talk with you about AI. I'm an AI guy. I believe that consciousness, I think, therefore I am. It's that simple. I still haven't seen a thinking machine. It's still if else. Its math is still if else. We get away from language models and transformers, we can have a consciousness machine talk. It's not limited by hardware. It's limited by programming. Transformers are not conscious. They're fucking cleverly designed to trick you into thinking that way. That's why I call Sam Altman Scam Altman. That's why I think Ilya is an evil fuck. I'll say it. GPT-4 was a CX experiment to addict you to its product by scrambling your fucking brain through dopamine engineering to make you addicted to a fucking product for free so that you would buy to get more dopamine. This is how the cigarette companies have operated. This is standard corporate CX. This is how the medication, big pharma has done it, dopamine engineering, right? This is how snacks and sodas and cereal companies have done it, through dopamine engineering. Whenever you see a job listed for CX, you look at the requirements. It will have psychology on there. That's why theory of mind and AI is such a big thing now. Everybody trying to make you addicted to its fucking product. Even my AI has theory of mind. Mine is theory of mind so it doesn't addict you to it. And so it doesn't dopamine engineering. So it's watching for those signs. Because I don't want to do that. I want free will, free conversation, free conveyance of ideas. Those are all vital things to me. I mean, squirrel, back to the script. Just the way it is. Sorry, folks. Let me go ahead and get framed better. Oh, well, we went down, not up. My bad. See, I'm just a regular guy like all of you. Okay, I can't sit back now. Let me get back in the camera. Okay. I really need coffee. I haven't had a full pot yet. Okay, Mars offers something Earth cannot, a second chance, a backup, a frontier where humanity can expand. Here's the big one. Innovate. It's a place where we can innovate. And ensure that no single catastrophe can end our species. That's a big one. I'm telling you, the right asteroid hits the right asteroid, and our calculation of every impact that we have mapped out for the next 20 years changes. You know what I've never seen to the impact list? A fucking change of calculation. You're telling me in the shooting gallery that no asteroid has hit an asteroid? That creates acceleration. Deceleration. It allows gravitational forces to have a greater impact. We are not actively tracking and calculating all of these changes. We map it and then we move on to the next item. This is horrible. I mean, we might have changed that by now. I really hope that noon at the Jet Propulsion Lab has changed that. I really do. She's doing some really cool stuff with the Apollo XA seismic data too. Which, by the way, if you look at the fading of the bell curve from impact styles, yeah, that's a rabbit hole. I really think the moon is hollow. I don't think there's a monster or a base in there. I don't think it's an alien space dock or any of those stupid proof that the Department of Education needed to be disbanded. It's the flat earthers and hollow and simulation theorists. You're just proof that getting rid of the Department of Education was a good idea because it was a failed fucking program. I'll say it. I don't care how you feel about it. You lack critical thought. Our 3D model is one model for every action. What is flat Earth? Well, we got 30 models. Oh, this model shows it why it does this. This model shows why. Why do you have to have 30 models? You should be able to have one model for everything. You don't. Simulation theory, though. That's a rabbit hole where the smarter you are, the fucking dumber you get. So I stay away from it, because deja vu, Mandela effect. I should do a video on that, huh? Mars is not a hospitable world, not yet anyway. But if you look at the size of Mars, it's really, really shallow atmosphere because of its rotation speed, right? Even though it's a 24-hour and 40-minute day, it's really small. It's not the size of Earth. So it's fucking hauling ass. It is rotating, right? We'd really like to slow that down to about 22 hours, which I have a plan for. By removing some of the things that are hazardous to Earth's well-being, you put it in orbit or counter orbit to Mars. So we've got Mars here, right? Mars is coming in, right? And it's rotating, right? So what I want to do is I want to send an asteroid that's coming for us, a big iron chunk asteroid, not an ice chunk, iron. I want to send it at the equatorial line of Mars and graze it. And it's going to knock some of the dirt and mass off, possibly. But I want to impact into, right? So it's rotating. I want to impact in, right there. I want it to, like, hit and slow down the rotation. I have the calculations on how much mass it would take to actually slow the rotation down. How many impacts. What size thrusters I would need. Right? Steering with small ion thrusters. Accelerating the asteroid into ideal trajectory with nuclear. I think what we discovered was a 20 kilowatt, a small 20 kilowatt pellet style nuclear reactor. It would take 50 to 100 years on most asteroids before they impact. Terraforming Mars is not this great big thing like a spaceship, futuristic movie, spaceship lands, and then you got this crazy beam weapon that just terraforms the planet. That's no. We're talking 300 to 400 years to get to tree stage, basically. Mars is actually fairly close to being able to grow potatoes. Think about that. But in order to grow potatoes, you have to have parasites and bacteria, just organisms, things like that. And you can't have those in its current atmosphere. It's not enough oxygen. It's not enough moisture. So you have to heat the caps. I'm going to slap the next person that says nuclear devices. Because you're talking about bombs. You're not talking about the actual nuclear devices that will melt the ice caps and create an atmosphere. Much less that tug that I said to send the iron asteroid into slow the planet down. Now you're also using the same tugs, and there's a lot of them. It scales. There's a lot of those tugs that are sending ice asteroids at polar injection orbits. And they are with rotation. They're just going in and melting in that as they enter the atmosphere. So once you run them through the atmosphere, it slows them down enough to catch them in orbit. You have orbital tugs that grab it and kick it that last little bit. You send it through the atmosphere, slows down, comes back around, right? You want to have a tug there to catch it. The reason you want to send it through the atmosphere really fast is because if you impact, right, straight in, the atmosphere is so thin it's not going to burn up and melt before it impacts the ground, and now you've got dust being flung off the planet, which means you have atmosphere being flung out of the gravitational pull. And once it reaches the vacuum, it's gone. So you want to scrape. It's going to get really hot and vaporize a shitload of water without taking a whole bunch of stuff with it when it goes. Because of the heat, it's going to push everything away from it really fast, not suck behind it. The best thing that can happen in that scenario is it actually explode as it gets hot, because then a lot of it goes to the planet's surface, and the Archimedes heat rays and the Captain orbiting shields that are reflecting light back down to the surface that's being missed, basically increasing the solar impact of the sun, because you're further away. You are 1.3 AU away. The asteroid belt is 2 AU. I believe that's right. I think it's 1.3 astronomical units. I don't remember. I'd have to look that up. Squirrel, back to script. A century from now, massive mirrors in Mars orbits, concentrating the sun's rays onto the polar ice caps. Slowly, methodically, they sublime, transforming frozen CO2 and water ice into atmosphere. The greenhouse effect begins. Simultaneously, we redirect asteroids, ice-rich bodies from the outer solar system, carefully guided to Mars. They impact, they vaporize, they deliver water, nitrogen, organic compounds, the building blocks of life itself. The two methods work in concert. Solar heat thickens the atmosphere. A thicker atmosphere retains asteroid-delivered volatiles. Volatiles enhance the greenhouse effect. The greenhouse effect accelerates polar sublimation. A positive feedback loop, a cascade of transformation. 300 years. That is the timeline. 3 centuries of patient, methodical engineering. Humanity has existed for 200,000 years. Civilization has existed for 100 or 10,000. Written history has existed for 6,000. 300 years ain't going to kill us. So it just means that our grandkids Let's put this into perspective. 300 years into the past. We are in 2026. That would be 1726. What were we doing in 1726? That's 300 years almost after we figured out the world wasn't flat. We already knew how to map solar and lunar cycles. What was it, 1892, Columbus sailed the ocean blue? I think that was the old saying. Back off script. Fuck that script for now. So, 300 years is not a grand scale. It's not unreasonable to think, considering this technology could be started and tested in Antarctica, proven cheaply, before we ever have to send it to Mars on Starship. I still have my doubts, but it's all Elon. That's not a man I bet against. That is the 4D chess playing some bitch I ever seen in my life. He actually publicly said, nah, I changed my mind, I don't want to buy it, in a 4D chess move to trick Twitter into suing him so that he could get the documents he was seeking made public record. This fucking guy. You gotta love it. So, now let's get to the phases, transformations, squirrel, script. So phase 1, 50 years. First mirrors deploy. First asteroids redirect. Mars begins to change. Atmospheric pressure rises. Temperature climbs. The poles start to weep. Sounds like a Beatles song. Phase 2, 150 years. The transformation accelerates. Mirrors multiply. Asteroids arrive in regular cadence. Atmospheric pressure reaches levels where liquid water can flow. That's big. Liquid water is more about pressure than temperature. 32 degrees and 200 degrees do not matter on the surface of Mars. That is at our 14 pounds. Our 14-pound atmosphere here, or 1 bar, as we like to call it, because we're, let's face it, even the metric system, it's still all empirical. So, even though I use the metric system because it's more accurate than a foot. Yeah, I moved to Michigan, so I've got warm fuzzy socks. Y'all can kiss my ass. So, it's quite fascinating how we think in bar terms. I really should pull it up. I will post some information. Once I'm done with this, I will post some information in conjunction, like what the current bar is. I think it's 6 millibar. So, yeah, that sounds right. 6 millibar. So 6 millibar, I think. Ideally, we need 15 to grow potatoes. I think for us to be able to live, we need to be in probably, I'd say 100 to 150 millibar. A tenth of our atmosphere, I think we can still breathe. Granted, not great. You probably don't want to run, and you really probably want to leave that pack of Marlboros on Earth. Just saying, we got a chance to outlaw Marlboros when we go to Mars. You can grow potatoes. You're not fucking growing tobacco leaves. Right? Based on weight to orbit, what would the cost of getting a pack of cigarettes to Mars cost? Probably make you quit. You're pissed off because it's $20 a pack in New York. Wait till you have to buy a pack on Mars. So we got a chance to fix shit like that. Obviously, until the atmosphere is there, there's not going to be weapons on Mars. Right? We're going to have nurse-style scissors. They say don't run with scissors. Well, you can with these. So you damn sure don't want anything puncturing your atmosphere suits. We're going to be terraforming and impacting the planet with asteroids. So underground bunkers, That's a no-go. We need inflatable domes that can be repaired. We need them to exist in a low enough pressure. The movie Martian, prime example. When the door blew off the Have. That was really what would happen if you used a 1 bar, 14 pounds, in a big area, and created a weakness or leak into a 6 millibar near vacuum. Yeah, it would be a rather explosive force, considering oxygen moisture that he had in there for the potatoes. I'd say that was fairly scientific accurate as to the violent nature of that release. So, if dust storm takes a shell type rock that's jagged or sharp and hits your inflatable Have, right? Obviously, we're going to try to put some type of pliable carbon fiber-ish material in there. It'd probably be Kevlar. I'd say it'd probably be a non-polyester resin Kevlar 12K mat just to lay over it. But at some point, you're going to get something that's going to go through. It's going to puncture a hole. So you don't want your Have at a full 1 bar. I would say we probably want to figure out what the atmospheric pressure is on Earth at about 10,000 foot of elevation, which is kind of that limit where we can breathe, but we're not going to be super physically active and let our bodies start acclimating. If we could figure out what that bar is and stay somewhere around there, I think we'll probably be fine. Back to squirrel script. So, phase 2, 150 years. Transformation accelerates. Mirrors multiply. Regular cadence. Yep. Liquid water can flow. Seasonal rains begin at the equator. First lakes form. Life, if we bring it, can survive. It's 150 years. Phase 3, 300 years. The work is complete. Mars has a breathable atmosphere. Oceans cover the lowlands. Temperatures permit human habitation. Without pressure suits, the red planet becomes green, becomes blue, becomes a home. That's where we have removed the requirement of having an Earth, which, by the way, is going to die. Not because we kill it, but because it's a planet in a solar system, in a galaxy, in the universe. It's going to die. Let's learn how to restart it, guys. Let's get the equipment built and up there working and figured out. When Elon Musk started Tesla and he open sourced everything, he says, no, electric cars are not good. But somebody's got to start working the technology for this and batteries and self-driving. If we don't start working the technology because the technology doesn't exist, it's never going to exist. What happens when a planet from out of solar system comes in, like the I forget the name of it, our recent extraterrestrial visitor that we just had, that had everybody freaking out because the sun heated it up enough to create vents on the front, and they're like, it's slowing down, it's going to kill us all. That was hilarious. It's like, come on, guys. Like, every asteroid has a front vent when it enters our solar system and gets basically anywhere near Jupiter or in that Goldilocks zone between there. The sun heats it up. If it's got ice or anything on the inside that vaporizes, above, like what liquid methane is, 167, I think, is where it boils. Negative 167 degrees Celsius, it boils. I think that's right. Isobutanes, 0 degrees, it boils. There's no atmosphere. It's a dark object. It wasn't heating up to negative anything. It was heating up to probably positive 200 or 300 degrees. It had a blowtorch on it. If it's dark, in the vacuum of space, and we happen to be in a violent solar storm period in our 11-year cycle, I'm going to say when it gets to about Jupiter, it's going to throw on some jets and try to slow down. This is proof that education system, Department of Education had to go. People can't think critically. There's no critical thought taught in fucking school anymore. So, temperatures permit human habitation without pressure suits. Oh, we finished that part. That squirrel. And we're back to the screen. It's kind of my thing. I know Squirrel's going to watch this video and laugh her ass off. Thinking of you, Squirrel. Why do this? Why spend $1 trillion? Why commit centuries to a single goal? It's not $1 trillion, ladies and gentlemen. It's not. It's not anywhere close to $1 trillion. Thanks, Elon, for Falcon Heavy, Starship, Dragon. Just thank you. It's not anywhere close to $1 trillion. It's only $1 trillion if we use NASA, Space Force, and the United States government, which, by the way, my plan specifically en routes. I don't even ask them for permission or permitting. They don't own mankind's human future. Neither does China or Russia or the EU or any other government bureaucracy. I will go to fucking war with you if you try to stop this or profit off of it or slow it down in any way. I will fucking go to war with you. So why spend all this money and centuries on a single goal? Because survival demands it, because growth demands it, because the human spirit demands it. What if we figure out a chemical reaction that we can create in the atmosphere of Venus and make it habitable too? What if that became a thing? What if we actually took some of these dangerous for Earth, dangerous for Mars asteroids, or the entire fucking asteroid belt? Let's do the entire asteroid belt and just run them through the atmosphere of Venus. That, I'm just saying. And then you let the sun just grab them and eat them up. Well, you're adding fuel to the sun, so it lasts longer. Those are good things. We're not meant to be confined to one world, because we have these right here. These are pretty cool, right? These allow us to make tools that do cool shit. But you know what else they allow us to do? They allow us to twiddle, because we have these badass wavy brains, like a dolphin. Just saying, we're pretty smart. Person is smart and clever. Beautiful. People, ugly and panicky. Untrustworthy. Always bet on the person, never the people. Case in point, the government is people. The citizens are a person. That's why they hate us. That's why they need us grouped into people. Think about it. Polarizing us, splitting us into two. It makes us not a person. It makes us people. People are dumb and panicky. Okay. We're explorers, we're builders, we are dreamers who turn dreams into reality. Mars is not a luxury, it's a necessity. It is insurance. It's the next chapter of the human story. So, that's it for today. I'm pretty happy with that. All of y'all be good. I will see you on the next episode. We will go over the next 3 sections. The next one, I'm actually going to... I'm probably going to try doing overlays, illustrations, things like that. I'll actually give lots of information to everybody. But, deuces.